This is the AB4WS radio show. Every week, bringing you the exciting amateur radio news and information happening in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana areas.
The AB4WS radio show can be found on the Apple Podcast app or your favorite podcast application. And now also available on the AB4WS radio show YouTube channel. The Youth on the Air Junior 2025 camp at the Voice of America Museum in Westchester, Ohio, home of the WFCA VOA Club, completed the 3-day camp for amateur radio operators under 15 years of age. The camp was a huge success. Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG, said the kids had a great time, and besides learning a lot of neat things like fox hunting by internationally renowned experts Dick Arnett, WB4SUV, and Bob Fry, WH6EZV, the kids possess remarkable abilities already. Adam, a 9-year-old from Mason, Ohio, was tearing up the pileup on the Youth on the Air W8Y special event station using sideband voice and took the opportunity to pass his general class license exam. Maggie from New York showed up with her very own Bengali CW key and ran CW at the special event station, making 35 words per minute CW QSOs. Maggie's, who's never experienced Skyline chili before, fell in love with our local delicacy, especially the hot sauce and cracker bombs. Obviously, a necessary trait of a great ham radio operator. Maybe someday she'll show up at one of our Skyline Chili ham radio lunch groups held every Tuesday at a different Northern Kentucky Skyline Chili location. The Logan County, Kentucky W4MSI repeater is now connected to Hams over IP, which directly links into the hub that several repeaters are connected to. Hams over IP is an analog voice over IP system set up for just ham radio operators, which is connected to All-Star, which is built on the Asterisk open source PBX platform. So if you have a voice over IP phone, you can connect to the repeater by dialing 15124. To activate the push to talk, all you do is push star 99, and to release the push to talk, press the pound key. And don't forget, press the pound key so you don't leave an open mic on the repeater. Amateur radio operator volunteers are needed on September 6th for the Young's Charity Bike Ride. This is a relatively large event and a good number of participants and covers a large geographical area, so many ham radio operators are needed. Start and finish is at Young's Dairy Bar north of Yellow Springs, Ohio. The event starts at 8 a.m. and usually is finished by 5 p.m. For more information or to volunteer, email Bob, N8ADO, at n8ado.bob@gmail.com. August 15th is the deadline for nominations for the Kentucky Amateur of the Year. Do you know a ham radio operator who is especially considerate, loyal, progressive, friendly, balanced, and patriotic? Someone who is up to date with the hobby and is patient with others, who encourages other hams and supports the community and their local club. If you do, then it's time to sit down and nominate them for the 2025 Kentucky Amateur of the Year. Put your reasons as to why you believe this individual meets those criteria and should receive this honor into an email and send it to KYAmateurOfTheYear@gmail.com. This award will be announced at the Greater Louisville Ham Fest on September 6th at the Parquet Springs Conference Center. The Bluegrass Amateur Radio Society is looking for nominations for the Ernie Farmer Memorial Award, which need to be submitted by August 11, 2025. They can be emailed to KE4MAJ@ARRL.net or mailed to Bluegrass Amateur Radio Society, Incorporated, Post Office Box 13206, Lexington, Kentucky 40583-3206. The selection committee considers the involvement in public relations, operating excellence, involvement in public service assistance to prospective and or licensed amateur radio operators, and a combination of these in the general furtherance of amateur radio. August 9th is the Kentucky Parks on the Air event created to promote awareness of ham radio in the beautiful Kentucky state parks and the national park system, promoting camaraderie within the ranks of Kentucky amateur radio operators. Sponsored by the Murray State University Amateur Radio Club, competing stations will operate from as many as 50 Kentucky state parks and 10 national sites as possible, making contacts from the park from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Updated rules and information is on the k4smu.com/KYPOTA website. The Brunch Bunch will be meeting on Saturday, August 9th at 1 p.m. at Sinful Eats, located inside Stumps Lanes at 5536 Bridgetown Road in Bridgetown, Ohio. They have a chef-crafted dishes which go beyond the typical bowling alley fare. The weekend of August 16th and 17th is the International Lighthouse and Light Shift Weekend, where amateur radio operators set up special event stations at these historic lighthouses and work as many contacts as they can. This was first established in Scotland in 1993 and has grown immensely in popularity, so look out for those lighthouses on the air. For more information on this event, go to illw.net. On August 18th, the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will meet at 7 p.m. at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky, where Michael, KE8PLM, will demonstrate testing spurious emissions from various personal radios. He'll be using the current version of the Tiny SA Ultra and encourages everyone to bring their favorite HT to the meeting for testing. This should provide some neat information for the group on the amount of spurious emissions from the different makes and models of radios. So if you are interested in how to use the Tiny SA Ultra and take these measurements or the standards of many radios, come out to the meeting and check it out. Everyone is welcome. On September 6th, the Okayan Amateur Radio Society is looking for ham radio volunteers to man the booth at the Harvest Home Fair, one of the main Okayan fundraisers. If you can help out, contact Rocky, KE8DZS. On September 6th, the Okayan Amateur Radio Society will once again set up at the Cincinnati Museum Center from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the 1940s Day. If you can volunteer to help out at this event, contact George, N3VQW. September 6th is the Ohio State Parks on the Air event, and the Okayan Amateur Radio Society is planning on participating in this event. If you're interested in it, contact Jesse, KD8OOB. The Bluegrass Amateur Radio Society will hold their annual family picnic on September the 8th at the Shiloh Park Shelter Number 2. A Parks on the Air meetup is planned for September 27th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time at the Paintsville Lake State Park, US 1270.
Repeater news.
Are you looking for the most up-to-date list of repeaters in the greater Cincinnati area? Well, I have an Excel spreadsheet where I've listed repeaters that are active in the area, separated by tabs for each band or mode, so you can easily look for just DMR repeaters or 2-meter analog repeaters and so on. The list includes 2 meters, 220, 440, 6 meters, D-Star, DMR, C4FM, P25, and some other classifications. Every time I update the file, I include the date and the file name so that you know you have the latest update. To download the file, go to the AB4WS Radio Show Facebook page and go to the file section and download the file. If you're not on Facebook, email me at ab4ws.radio@gmail.com and I can email you the latest file. If you see any errors, problems, additions, or corrections, email that information to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com.
Hamfest.
August 9th is the Cincinnati Hamfest, sponsored by the Milford Amateur Radio Club at the Claremont County Fairgrounds in Owensville, Ohio. This year, they will have overnight parking for campers and RVs with electric and water hookups. Go to cincinnatihamfest.org for more information. On August 9th is the Letcher County Amateur Radio Club Hamfest at the Mountain Shrine Club, 95 Maryland Drive in Whitesburg, Kentucky, from 8 a.m. to noon. They're already amassing a nice stash of door prizes from some great name brand sponsors. For more information, contact Roland Brown, AF4Y at AF4Y@REBROWN.org. August 16th is the Portsmouth Radio Club 2025 Hamfest at the New Boston Village Community Center, 3980 Rhodes Avenue in New Boston, Ohio. On August 17th is the Warren Hamfest at the Trumbull County Fairgrounds, Commercial Building, 899 Everett Cortland Hall Road, Cortland, Ohio. For more information, go to w8vtd.com/hamfest. August 30th is the Athens Trunk Fest at the Athens Masonic Lodge, 12 West Carpenter Street in Athens, Ohio. On Saturday, September 6th is the Greater Louisville Hamfest 2025 at the Parquet Springs Conference Center, 395 Parquet Springs Drive in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. This year will be free admission for anyone under 16 years of age. Also, scouts and scout leaders in uniform can get free admission as well. Exciting forums on POTA, digital networking, and the ARRL. Major prizes include a Yaesu FT891 and an MFJ 1536 tri-band pulsar antenna, as well as many others. QLF contest is back again this year, and they'll be awarding the Kentucky Amateur of the Year Award. For more information or to purchase your ticket, go to LouisvilleHamfest.com. September 7th is the Findlay, Ohio Hamfest at the Hancock County Fairgrounds, 1017 East Sandusky Street in Findlay, Ohio. On September 13th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. is the Richmond, Kentucky Hamfest at the Madison County Fairgrounds, 3237 Old Irwin Road in Richmond, Kentucky. September 27th is the Paintsville, Kentucky Hamfest at the Paintsville Recreation Center. October 4th is the DX Workshop Operating Specialty Convention from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time in the Warren County Public Library, Bob Kirby Branch, 175 Iron Skillet Court in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Talk in on the 444.300 repeater with a PL tone of 179.9. For more information, visit wkdxa.org/events. On November 8th, the Grant Amateur Radio Club will once again hold the famous Georgetown Hamfest at the ABCAP building, 406 West Plum Street in Georgetown, Ohio. Lots of door prizes will be given away. An amateur radio exam session will be held by the Highland Amateur Radio Association. Talking on the 146.73 repeater with a PL tone of 162.2. For more information, contact Ken, KD8FKU, at KD8FKU@gmail.com.
Are you looking to upgrade your license? Do you have someone else that's interested in the hobby? Here are some upcoming exam opportunities.
The Milford Amateur Radio Club holds amateur radio testing on the third Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. at the Miami Township Civic Center, 6101 Meyer Drive in Milford, Ohio. Please pre-register at milfordhamradio.org. The Dayton Amateur Radio Association has exams frequently. For their exam schedule, email exams.w8bi@gmail.com. On August 9th at 9 a.m., the Tusco Amateur Radio Club is holding amateur radio testing session at the Dover Faith United Methodist Church, 430 North Wooster Road in Dover, Ohio. They take walk-ins. For more information, email tusco.ve.team@gmail.com. On August 9th at 10 a.m., the Bluegrass Amateur Radio Society will hold an amateur radio testing session at the Red Cross Building in Lexington, Kentucky. On August 14th, the DeForest Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at 6 p.m. at the Adams County Emergency Management Office, 31 Logan's Lane in West Union, Ohio. Please pre-register by emailing K8WEH@ARRL.net or check in on the K8GE.net website. On August 16th at 10:30 a.m., the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at the Cuyahoga Falls Public Library, 2025 2nd Street in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Pre-registered education at cfarc.org or call 330-929-8921. On August 17th at 9 a.m., the Warren Amateur Radio Association will hold an amateur radio testing session at the Trumbull County Fairgrounds, 899 Everett Hall Road in Cortland, Ohio. Walk-ins accepted. For more information, call AB8MO at 234-238-2312. On August 18th at 5:30 p.m., the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky. You must register by going to hamstudy.org/sessions/NKY-VE. On October the 9th, the DeForest Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at 6 p.m. at the Adams County Emergency Management Office, 31 Logan's Lane in West Union, Ohio. Please pre-register by emailing K8WEH@K8WEH@ARRL.net or on the K8GE.net website. On October 11th at 10 a.m., the Scott County Amateur Radio Club will host an amateur radio testing session at the Georgetown Police Department, Georgetown, Kentucky. On October 25th at 10 a.m., the Wilderness Road Amateur Radio Club will host an amateur radio exam session at the American Legion, Post 46 in Danville, Kentucky. On October 28th at 6 p.m., the K4TG VE team will host an amateur radio exam session at the Anderson County Extension Building. Use the rear entrance in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. On November the 8th at 10 a.m., the Bluegrass Amateur Radio Society will host an amateur radio exam session at the Red Cross Building in Lexington, Kentucky. On December 11th, the DeForest Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at 6 p.m. at the Adams County Emergency Management Office, 31 Logan's Lane in West Union, Ohio. Please pre-register by emailing K8WEH@K8WEH@ARRL.net or on the K8GE.net website. On December 13th, the Scott County Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio testing session at the Georgetown Police Department in Georgetown, Kentucky. Special thanks to this week's content contributors: WB8VNH, KY6MM, AC8MA, KY4GW, WB8YYS, KD8ZLD, K9HIO, N8LAR, K4NKU.
If you have something you think other amateur radio operators in the area would be interested in, send the information or your recorded audio file attached in an email to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com.
Covering your amateur radio news and information in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana tri-state area, this is Jack Prindle, AB4WS in Big Bone, Kentucky.